salutations, everybody. This is Because Why Not with Chris and Kevin. I am said Chris, and that is said Kevin, who's going to say something right. Meow.
Hey guys, it's me.
Hey,
I missed my cue.
it's all right. It happens
That's
to
all
the
right.
best of us. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little tired.
Yeah, your staycation wore you out, eh?
Eh? Okay, Habs. Who are down 3-0-3 in the series. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
everyone
it's not
applauded them for beating the golden the
the Golden
Golden
Knights. Yep.
Knights, and then they just came in and shit the bed in the finals.
Though that's what I was talking to Neil about last night when I started watching the
Talking
game.
hockey, everyone, if you didn't know. Feel
Yeah,
free
and
to tune out for the next 30 seconds.
I gave up on it just because I mean they played so well against the Knights, and after that, I mean, it just there's they the game two they looked really good. I thought they were going to win that game, and they just had a couple of bad breaks, and unfortunately, this is not the time of year where bad breaks help you out. So
Nope. It's the same in the NBA playoffs right now. Like it's like the truncated. But was there a truncated? Like, was there a shortened season for hockey this year, or did it?
I don't think so. I think they played the full season.
Because at the
Pretty
end
sure
of
they
last
played.
year, everything was they stayed in Canada, right? Everybody played in Canada, or was that just the bubble?
Yeah, all the Canadian teams they never traveled. It wasn't until the night series that the Canadians for the first time played and crossed the border. So
Mm.
and vice versa. So
But yeah, like LeBron James himself was saying that um, due to the shortened off season and the way the schedule played out, that that's why there was so many injuries this year, and like two of the superstars for the Eastern Conference Finals teams are injured. One's not even playing tonight.
yeah, I saw that. I mean, it definitely makes sense. I mean, when you're playing at such an elite level,
Uh,
you can only you need
your
some
body
time
can
to
only
let your
do
body
so
recover.
much.
Exactly. Well, that's what I forget. I forget the guy's name. Somebody from Tampa Bay. He actually, because of how the seasons changed and everything got moved around, he's the first player to ever score in every month of a calendar year. So he's scored every single month because I mean,
Yeah,
usually there's some months where there's no hockey. So to be the first one to do it, it's pretty cool. I guess it's one benefit of having this weird
and I don't think that
modified
unless
season.
there's another pandemic, that record will never be beaten.
Right? It's
They
gonna hold
change
on
the
until
schedule.
the next crazy world-ending kind of thing.
Fingers
Um,
crossed.
right? Well, do you see that? Where did I see it? There's like out of the ocean, like some oil thing was on fire.
I saw that the ocean's just on fire. I
Yeah,
didn't. I
just
didn't look it up. Did you? Did you look it up to see the story behind it?
no. I just saw some post on it, and I was like, oh, that's a fun way to now that things are kind of getting back to normal. Let's have just ocean catch on fire and be good.
So, just quickly looking it up, the ocean is on fire. Apparently, it's a gas leak from an underwater pipeline in the Gulf of Mexico. The
Hmm.
pictures of it are insane. It's like this big ball of fire just in the middle of the water.
Yeah, it's like the ocean decided it needed a little hot tub out there, and
Yeah,
it just
like it.
created it.
It doesn't even look real.
No, I thought it was fake. And then like
Yeah.
the person that I saw that had posted it, he's like this biologist that I follow that does all this stuff. So he's a credible person. It wasn't just posting some crazy nonsense. So I was like, oh, that's weird. And I saw it again. So that's
Yeah, I mean
interesting.
it's crazy that would happen. Say hi.
Hi, sorry.
It's okay, baby.
Yeah, it's okay, Gloria. I'm just here doing my thing. I'm putting
And
my thing down. I'm gonna flip it and reverse it next. So we'll
that's
see.
staying in. But no, I'm looking at a video of it right now, and it literally looks that like it's a boiling pit of lava just in the
Yeah,
middle of the ocean.
it looks straight out of like some bad movie where the world is ending and The Rock has to come in and save the day or something.
And with a fake leg and jump some impossibly long distance with a fake leg.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So how was your
It
staycation
was pretty
birthday
good.
celebration?
It was pretty good. I mean, it like I never like getting gifts because only for the fact that it makes me feel uncomfortably awkward.
Right.
So of course, all my friends gave me some extremely thoughtful and wonderful gifts, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks.
Gift getting
Yeah, it's
is
like,
very challenging.
and like I always like introspectively wonder what it is, but like I think we've talked about this before. It's versions of imposter syndrome where you don't feel like you deserve to be where you are in your life and stuff like that. Like
Right.
you don't deserve, you feel deservant. That's not a word. You don't feel like you deserve any of the success. Wow,
Success.
success. Success. That's the way.
I'll have some of that.
You're not. You don't feel like you deserve the success that you've accomplished, and I think that's part of it too for me. Like I don't like I don't feel like I deserve the gifts, and it's weird. And it's like everyone deserves some sort of gift. I know that, but it's in the
Right.
back of my head. I can't reconcile you giving me something just because.
Right. I think
But
that's
then,
kind of like everyone's like. I don't think anyone's comfortable opening gifts in front of people, like unless you're a small child.
yeah, are some people are. Some people just love the gifts. They love, and also I'm not the like. If you ever ask me like, what do you want? It's always gonna be nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever you think.
Yeah, because I
Just
always
don't. I always just say just don't spend a lot of money.
yeah. And before I could before I could tell people not to get me anything, I had slipped my mind. So then I show up because we rented the movie theater, which was fucking dope.
That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. And they put us like in a small theater too. So then it was
Okay.
like, yeah, so there was only like 5 or 6 rows or something like that. And there was 11 of us, so we all just kind of spread out.
Nice.
It was fun. And then like we went to after the movie, we originally went to Stone Brewing, which is down the street from the movie theater we went to, but apparently they were having like a private event, and I should have known like the first beginning of summer, people are going to start having events now, especially with
Oh
things
yeah.
opening up. So we went there, and they were like, "Nope, can't accommodate you, not even separately." So it's like,
Oh.
well, yeah, like, well, shit. So we called this place that we go to a lot, like a local place we go to a lot, and I was like, "Hey, can you accommodate 11 people?" It's like, for you guys, of course. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, so we went there and we had a good time. It was nice. I don't. It is the first time in a while that like I have done intense peopling like that. Like I like, yeah. It's just so many. It was a lot. So I did nothing the next day.
Yeah. It takes a lot out of you. That's
Yeah.
one thing that with all this, it's weird being around. Like we went to breakfast this morning and it was like full capacity in the restaurant. It was just kind of weird, but I mean it was nice because we haven't had breakfast out together in a while. But yeah, it's different. I mean that's what. So let me ask you this: with everything opening up, like we've had some new people hired on at work,
Mm-hmm.
like handshaking, like I feel like this, like, before everything, it's like you meet somebody new, especially like in a professional environment. It's like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm so and so. But now it's like this awkward, like everyone's like,
What do I do?
hey, like I'm Kevin. Hi.
I'm okay with not shaking hands.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with it. But it's
We
like,
can dap elbows. We can bump fists. Like nah, like even like during like we went when I went to officiate our friend Stephanie's wedding, when I was going in there and they were like telling me the logistics of everything and where I was going to stand and everything, the party planner came up to me and like reached their hand out, and I'm like I didn't know what to do, so I shook their hand as a reflex. There we go. And
That's
I
fun.
was like I didn't like that.
No, it's weird. I haven't like shooken a hand in.
Yeah.
It's been quite a while.
It's like, and I mean, like all the people. I gotta stop saying like editing. Like when we edit this, I realize how much I say and like and I like filler words. So I'm trying to work on taking out the filler words,
Fillers. Yeah.
fillers. But all the people that
Filler, I hardly know her. Dude, that was so delayed. I feel that was way beyond the timing.
What's that Mitch Hedberg joke? He's like, when you're riding in the car and then you see something on the side of the road and no one hears you, and you have to say it a bunch of times to the point where it's a pointless story. It's like, yeah, that tree back there was really big. It was like a mile back. So it's just like, huh?
My slow brain process, like I thought the joke and I just couldn't get it to get to my vocal cords for some reason. It's all right.
It's all right. But you did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's what matters. So hey, I didn't lose my train of thought this time. Progress. So the people that we all went with were all vaccinated. Pretty much everybody is some form of healthcare worker or has been working from home or anything. So it was like all these people like I knew and stuff. So it's like I was actually like hugging people and things like that. So it was like the first time that I've like been hugging people in a while, and I'm just like, oh, this feels nice but strange.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, but it's also a strange feeling.
Yeah, it's a very strange feeling. Can I borrow a feeling? That's a Simpsons reference right there.
I still haven't made it through all of it.
It's all right. I think it was from an episode where Milhouse's mom and dad got divorced, and Milhouse's dad tried to put out a record, and that was his single. Was "Can I Borrow a Feeling?"
Okay. That's why not?
Because why not?
Yeah.
Oh snap! That's the name of the show.
Whoa! Is that? Oh yeah, that is. I can read it. It's behind you and it's behind myself. Hey, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Do you like bananas?
In pajamas? They're coming down the stairs.
How? I mean, yes, they are. Anyways, at what point is it edible for you? Like, are you one of those people like it's still kind of green and bright yellow?
So I remember we touched on this a little bit last episode with Danielle's like and dislike of the brown bananas.
Did we? Yeah. So my brain is
It's okay, but I didn't answer myself, so this is good. I like them to the point like I don't, because we got one of those little hangies. I don't remember if we mentioned this. Like I got one of the hangies that will help extend like ripen it without making them go brown. Like, and I've had some on there for like a week and a half now, and they're just barely to the point where I won't touch them anymore.
Oh wow!
So like I don't like them to be too brown, but I don't like them green. So it's like I'll take them like yellow with some brown spots on there. But if it gets too deep underneath the peel, then I don't eat it.
Yeah,
I tear that piece apart, and I actually eat them upside down. Like I peel them bottom up like a monkey.
That's how you're supposed to do it, right?
Yeah, because that's how you also don't get the little stringies.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, we've had, I think with the heat recently, like the bananas just aren't lasting as long. So like she gets enough for like every day of the week, and by like Wednesday she's like, oh, they're not good anymore. But like this morning she had one and I had to eat like half of it because she was struggling to finish it. And it was perfect for me. Like I was like, this is exactly how a banana's supposed to taste.
You like them all brown and mushy?
Yeah, they gotta be soft. I don't like it when they're
super hard.
Yeah, I mean, banana's like the opposite of a penis, I suppose.
I was gonna make a dick joke, but then I was like, nah. But then you read my mind. And
yeah, I figured I knew we had. I mean, it's a phallic food that you have to reference a penis when you're discussing it. So
I mean, you have to. Them's the rules,
right?
But
oh, this is something that I actually want to talk about last time because it was Pride Month. It's no longer Pride Month, so
it's Pride. Every day is Pride Day,
right?
Be prideful of who you are as a person, unless you're
as you should.
Then fuck you.
Yeah. Did you remember Tattoo? All the things she said. All the things she said?
that Russian band, right?
Yeah. Did you know that they weren't actually lesbian?
Really?
Dude. Apparently, this news came out in like 2007, so we're both still behind. Which, like, I forget where I heard it, but I was like just mind blown because like their whole thing was like they're breaking the barriers for because Russia is so anti-gay and everything. And come to find out, yeah, it was just like this whole show that they were putting on. And like one of them even later on had like some interview where she was talking about how like if her son was gay, like she just couldn't handle it. And like she would just be so upset by it
Wow.
because in her mind, like even she said like it's okay if you're two women and want to be lesbian, but not okay for guys. Which I was like, what the hell? Like I was totally just like, what is going on? I used to love that song and play it all the time. And I'm officially boycotting tattoos. So their
Because
next album comes
I
out,
don't think
I'm
they're
not
a
buying
group
it.
anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know how strong your protest is going to be, but
Well, at least one every Pride Month, I think I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to just try and cancel them one
Every
month
year?
out of the year. I'll just cancel them. So
you do what you got to do, pimp. I'll be right there with you. God, I keep looking at the video of that fire, and it's just crazy.
it's still going, right?
I think so. I didn't read the whole article. I just looked at the pictures because that's what I do.
Yeah, I should have looked it up because I was interested in like wondering how you put out a gas leak fire in the middle of the ocean.
Because if it's like a gas fire, you can't really use water. So I don't.
Clearly, the water's not helping.
I mean, it's containing it, I guess.
Yeah, it's keeping it in that death circle where the spawn of Satan's gonna crawl up and
out. Wouldn't that be crazy if something just kind of like spawned out of it and just like you saw it like reach its hand out and then its other hand and then just kind of shimmy out.
And it's like, hey, I got a new.
What that little dance was that I just did.
I got a new variant dance. What's up, guys? What you got? All right, I'm coming for you.
Good times, good times. So, how was your week? I know you had a pretty eventful week there.
Yeah, it was. Well, for those of you that don't know, Monday I started off going to the emergency room while I was at work, which was actually one of the scariest things that I've encountered. I was at work and I just like had my snack and I was just sitting at my desk, not doing anything out of the normal. And like I felt like this like pressure kind of pain like in the middle of my chest, and it just kind of like it came and I was like, that's weird, like that shouldn't feel that way. And then like I started thinking about it more and it kind of built up. And then I got like lightheaded where when you stand up too fast and you get fuzzies. I had that while I was just sitting down. And like I checked like my pulse and everything felt normal. But then like after like a few seconds, all of a sudden my heart was racing and like I was like, something's not right. Like I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating. And so I got to my supervisor's office and had her call 911. They came, checked me out. Everything like 12 lead and everything came back normal. My blood pressure was like super. It was like 160 over 100.
For you, who's pretty healthy, that's pretty fucking high.
Yeah, it was not a good not a good reading. And I forget what my heart rate was, but it was not normal. Like my heart rate normally stays in like the mid 50s to low 60s.
Same
and
here.
it was
and it was matching heart rates.
What? And yeah, it was crazy. So I didn't. So I went to the ER, got checked out. Shout out to Banner University. I thought the first time I was going to go there was when my son was born, but I decided to check it out a little prematurely. They were cool. They were nice. They said it could be stress related, and after analyzing everything that was building up to it, it made sense that it was just a panic attack. And because that was one thing, is like as soon as like thinking back and actually processing it, like as I felt like the discomfort, like I was kind of just overwhelmed throughout because of everything going on. Mm-hmm. And then of course as soon as like I felt the pressure and I was like, I had this thought of my son's gonna be born, I'm never gonna meet him kind of thing. And yeah, my brain went straight to that, and that's basically when I felt everything like progress rapidly. So yeah, everything checked out, and just kind of took it easy and trying to not overthink things as much as I normally do, and not think worst case scenario and everything. But it's not always easy to do. So it was scary, and I know it's a lot of it's stuff that like luckily Danielle's amazing, and she kind of just listened to me talk, and I was able to kind of express some of my feelings that I don't really talk about too much because it kind of just seems like it's not anyone else's need to worry. Like one of the things that I told her about that I do, and I think I don't know if it's because there's more and more like public shootings and things happening in public. Like whenever we're out in public, like I'm constantly analyzing what would happen if someone came in with a gun and was like shooting up the store that we're in, like every time. And I don't know how to not think that way. And like it's really like you don't think about it as being like super stressful, but then when you really think about it, like anytime I'm in a public setting, I'm constantly worrying about where I'm going to go and my exit strategies, if that makes sense.
I get you. I know. I think about exit strategies all the time. Like
Yeah.
sitting in the like I actually don't like sitting with my back in the direction of the door. Like I like to be able to see the exit. And like luckily Gloria knows that. And there's a lot of weird things that I do. Like I like to sit facing the door. I can't use a cart that's just freestanding like in a grocery store. Like I have to get it from a cart corral, or I have to get it from someone. Like I just can't, like if it's just floating in the parking lot. Mostly also like I don't it's weird because also I don't want to reward someone's assholeness by taking their cart away that they just left somewhere
in the middle of the parking lot. They couldn't bring it back to the car corral.
Yeah, like we all know that is one of my biggest pet peeves is people who don't take the fucking cart back.
Oh, it's one of the most annoying things in the world. It's not that difficult.
I mean, and I get it. Basic with the climate the world is today, it's like it's easy, especially with the way the news reports things, that you're just inundated with all this violence and gun violence and all this crazy stuff going on in the world, that it just kind of gets your brain spinning sometimes. And if you don't have an outlet or some sort of coping mechanism, it can just become a sea of worry that just drowns you. And like I get it, and I'm glad you stepped through to the other side a little bit better. What's next for you in this now realization what it was?
Well, I'm gonna look into, like, we have the employee assistance stuff at work, so I'm looking into some therapy and just trying to find different ways of coping with things. I know, and one of the things that I realized is like one of my outlets used to be the gym. That was always my, like, I put my headphones in, not listen to anybody else, and just kind of do my own thing, and just kind of get all of my negative thoughts out, and just like that was one of my things. And now, like, I think just working at home, like I just haven't been as focused, and then with everything else going on, with the baby and those worries. So I'm they reopened up our county gyms for the employees that we can use for free.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna start, trying to get back there and just
pump some iron.
Yeah, and just be able to get into my own world and zone out and that good stuff. But yeah, it was like one of the things that kind of unfortunately led back to my whole exit strategy inside public places. So we were actually at Bed Bath & Beyond the day before, right? And
stay away from that Beyond section.
Man, that's the problem, is we were at the Beyond section. Danielle needed to go to the bathroom. So it's like, all right, she handed me her phone, her wallet. I had everything, right?
Uh-huh.
And then, like, so she goes in, and I think most Bed Bath & Beyonds, you walk in, you turn to right, and that's where the bathrooms are.
Uh-huh.
So I'm kind of just hanging out, looking at the front section, just kind of killing time. And then, like, I hear, like, a loud voice coming from, like, the side. And I was like, that's weird, right? So immediately, like, I'm on edge, like, trying to figure out, like, is this person upset, or are they just having a loud conversation? Kind of find out they were upset and angry with the staff that was there. And it was like, this guy, he appeared to be homeless, just arguing with them. I think he wanted to use the bathroom, but they have like a lock, like a key code, and they wouldn't give it to him because he's not a customer.
Obviously.
So, like, I'm just standing there waiting, like, okay, it's whatever. He's just upset. And then as he's like walking to the front, I hear him yell, "I'm gonna fucking shank you!" And like I'm like, oh no, like things are getting like for real.
This escalated quickly.
Yeah, right. So I'm like standing like across like the alley. He's walking past me, and I'm like near like the frying pans and knives. So I'm like, all right, game on if things go down. But then he's like hanging out around like where you walk into the bathroom, and so there now he's between me and then my pregnant wife in the bathroom. I have her phone. I have no way of getting in contact with her saying, "Hey, don't step out right now. This is bad timing." Um, so then he goes in like the little hallway where that leads to the bathrooms. So then I'm like, and then like he's making all. And she had heard him, so I guess she
knew.
Yeah, so she went to like the bigger stall and like where her feet couldn't be seen, and like she was hiding out in there because she didn't know what was going on. But then so then and everyone in the store like they're just like laughing and like just getting him more riled up, and it's like you guys aren't helping the situation.
Not at all.
And like so I just walk over, and now there's like a freestanding shopping cart just like in the way. So I stand there and I just put the cart between him and myself. That way I can be closer in case Danielle walks out. Like, I want to be ready.
Smart.
Yeah, and then he just started like talking to me, and I just stayed calm, talked to him, and he ended up being cool. But then anytime he would like walk around me, it's just like, all right, now I'm going to rotate to the other side of the cart. That way, in case something goes down, I can at least carry my. And then Danielle comes out and is like, all right, let's get out of here. We walk straight out, and then he's like, all right, I'm out of here. And he just left right behind us, and he was cool. So I think that was part of my ever escalating situation where my brain was just like in this paranoid state for a little bit. So
that's crazy.
Weird.
No, I don't mean, I don't mean that's crazy in the you're crazy thing, but that's a story.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
But no, just speaking on your ability to keep homeboy calm, that could have been an escalation spiral. Hey there, hello, Ice.
Hello.
It could have been an escalation spiral if you hadn't been there, and it could have been a whole lot worse for the laughing asshole employees who were there. It's like, I get it. They probably get a lot of homeless people. They probably get that homeless person a lot, but that's when in situations like that, you have to think about everyone else and not just your employees, and think of everyone else that it possibly affects, like the situation that you're escalating this person into. Because it happens in the hospital all the time. It's like,
oh, I'm sure.
Like, especially some of the nurses who have just a particular tone that they have no maliciousness in their heart. It's just their tone is harsh. So then they just automatically set some patients on edge. So it's like, that's when I try and go and be like, hey, what's going on?
Right.
With a hopefully calming, understanding personality that's not patronizing at all.
Because I think that was one of the good things with a good partner on the ambulance too. Is sometimes you get those patients that are just upset and irate, and just however you're talking to them is not helping the situation. You have a good partner that just changes the tone a little bit and is able to kind of take over. It's like, okay, now I can step away since you kind of got things figured out just from a different perspective. But yeah, I've also worked with some people that don't know how to de-escalate situations and just keep talking and making things worse. And it's like, okay, that's not good. You can have a patient that's totally calm, and then so-and-so decides they're going to go talk to him.
Decides to throw water on the grease fire?
Yeah. I had one partner like that I was working nights with every once in a while, and she just, oh my goodness. Like anytime we had somebody, like, all right, I'll take this one, thanks.
It was funny because it was complete opposite of me and you. Like when we worked together, every patient hated you.
Yeah.
And just loved me, and I didn't even have to do anything. I just walked in the room and they would just start talking calmly to me. I'm just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, and I'm just like, hey, how's you doing? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, okay. All right.
It's funny.
Yeah, there's sometimes you just can't decide who's gonna like you, who's not gonna like you. But
it's like, and mind you, what I said earlier about me going over to calm people down and people having edge and whatnot. Some people are just assholes. Some people just want to be mad, and there's nothing you can do in that situation. You just let their candle burn out, and hopefully it doesn't burn the place down.
Yeah, exactly. Most definitely. But yeah, that's how we started. It was great.
So how are you feeling now that you know what it was?
I feel a lot better. I've been kind of just taking it easy this week and just trying to get him. I've stopped listening to some of my true
Oh
crime
yeah,
stuff.
the true crime stuff. That could have, yeah. I heard
Uh,
that can happen to a lot of people is to start spinning them.
yeah, I've taken a break. I listen to music on Tuesday and just kind of calming music, and then Thursday, Friday, I just put the golf channel on my phone and just listen to the commentators talk about golf because there's nothing stressful hearing talking about golf. Not like playing golf, but
The complete opposite when you play it.
yeah. But it's like it's sometimes it's hard for me not to like listen to everything going on around me because we have these two girls that I work with that like they just talk all day and they don't like they get work done and like then they just talk for like an hour. They do some work and they talk for an hour and they like close work out to me and then I have to go review their work. And it's just like I don't I I, I don't like lazy people and like I can feel myself getting tense listening, just like knowing that they're not working while I'm
Mhm.
working, and like I became more aware of it as the week went on, and I would get up and walk away, or I'd put in another earbud so I can't hear anything and just like try and not focus on it. But like they're also working overtime, and that really bothers me that you can justify working overtime and getting paid more to do absolutely zero work and I don't know why it bothers me so much. It's not my money, it's not my company, but for some reason I don't like it.
I think because I mean you're there to work and they're not doing that,
I guess.
and it's
Like
like I mean, mind you, like I get, I get it. It's like, hey, you're there to work. You want to make the time go by, but do some work while you're there. You know.
right. Well, that's like so we ended up getting like one of their like they do data entry, so like they do labs for gonorrhea and chlamydia. But we ended up getting like this stack of labs from one of the hospitals, like labs all the way back to like March that we just like they were electronically uploaded most of them, but we needed to go through and verify that everything was in the system, right? And so they had it figured out that they were going to be the ones to do it. And like normally I do a lot of the syphilis labs, um,
Syphilis.
but yeah, so they gave them this stack. I mean, I'm talking like 300 pages, and they're like, okay, yeah, we can get it done. And then like 2 days later, they hadn't even touched the stack, and like I just grabbed the stack and I just started doing it because I needed to not have it just sit there. But
Like, do some work.
right, exactly. And it was like I'm not in charge. I can't tell them what to do. And like I don't know.
Like, but
That
I
was
want you to do work.
right.
Do work, son. Do work.
Just just a little bit more than you're doing now. But
So,
yeah, so that's my week. That's
what's that calm stuff I saw you posted today?
Oh, it's like magnesium. I've had it for a while. I
Mhm.
actually used to take it at night to try and help calm me down so I can sleep a little bit. I actually
Mhm.
saw it at the when I was working at the airport. Somebody was traveling with it, and they said they would drink it before it comes. You can get like they now make like gummies and stuff, so you don't have to like make you mix the powder in with some like warm water.
Have you ever
Which
thought about CBD?
yeah, I've taken CBD for my back and stuff, and that
Mhm.
worked, but I haven't for anything else.
I don't remember. Weed's legal in Arizona now, right?
It is now, yeah, and I haven't bought any since it's been legal here.
Slacking.
I know. So
But I mean, it makes sense. You harvest wow. Bringing in a child into the world, you have your focus other places
yeah, so
other than
no,
scoring some ganj
none alcohol is in my system right now for now, and just just in case I have to get out to the hospital,
yeah,
which could be
any day now. How
any
far along
day.
is Danielle now?
38 weeks.
Oh wow, so yeah, she's definitely
Yeah,
past the point of no return.
yeah. So yeah, we went to the doctor yesterday. She's still completely sealed up, not opened at all yet. So he's head down, ready to go.
Oh wow.
But her body's not ready. So we'll see. I guess after next week's appointment, we can start the process of inducing as an outpatient scenario if wanted, or we could wait till his due date, in which case the doctor will probably decide to probably do the outpatient way to avoid inpatient, which I guess at 41 weeks, they would just send her to the hospital and have it done. And it's like a 3-day process or something like that.
But you don't want that.
No.
You want the more natural.
Yeah, then that's what the doctor prefer too, because you can go like, I guess it's whatever it is, they give her, you take a day off, you go in and they give you medication in the morning, you go back later, they do it again, and then everything happens while you're at home, you're not sitting at the hospital, and it kind of starts things naturally for you, and then so that's the ideal way. But we'll see. Her dad's coming in Wednesday, so after that, pancakes covered, and so we just got to make it till Wednesday, and I'll be
Wednesday.
That's the day. Wednesday at like 5 o'clock.
So Tuesday night.
Oh, all right. Well,
has Danielle taken time off work? Is she off work now, or is she still working?
She's still working. She's gonna work all the way up until
she's going to the hospital, huh?
Yep. Till it's go time. That's what. Even it was funny because her doctor's like, yeah. She's like, how far is your walk-in from like where the parking is? We go, not that far. She's like, okay, that's good. But it's like she still walks up 3 flights of stairs. We go on walks during our lunch break. Like she just won't slow down. So, what are you gonna do? She's Energized Bunny.
Energized Bunny.
Yeah. Like she refused. Finally, Monday when she took me to the hospital, we took the elevator. that's the first time.
That's the first time.
That's the first time.
I think I think if like every time I have to go up to the floor now in the hospital, I have to push a gurney. So obviously I'm not taking that upstairs.
That'd be a little difficult.
But if I worked on the floor, I'm pretty sure I would take the stairs everywhere. Like just because it's a good way to get in some steps.
You're right. And it's not too bad. We take breaks, especially like after our lunch. If we go for a walk, we will walk down to the parking garage. It's on the lower level. And then like she'll go up like the first 2 flights of stairs, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna stand here for a second, catch my breath, and then we'll finish the set of stairs. But yeah, it's not too bad.
Good deal. So, I wanted to, in the theme of last week's episode, of like educating or putting out stories about things that not a lot of people know about, also in this scheme of like the slavery thing. But have you ever heard of this homeboy named Bass Reeves?
No, never.
No,
it doesn't even sound like the name.
Like doesn't even sound
familiar.
like
no.
Familiar? All right, so this badass motherfucker named Bass Reeves, he was this dude. He was born to slaves in 1838 in Crawford County, Arkansas.
South.
Yeah, the South. So he was born to slaves. So he was born into slavery. His original last name, he as was common in that time, if you were born into slavery, you generally took the last name of your owner. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, that's why. So here's a joke that only Black folks can say. What do Smith, Johnson, and Jones all have in common? They were probably the richest slave owners. Because if you know, like Smith, Johnson, and Jones are
they're the most common names. I get it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus, that one went right over my head there for a second. That is...
But I mean, all the Black folks just started laughing and who listening. So there you go.
That's a good one.
So yeah, so like all the slaves in the time, he took his owner's last name, who was George Reeves. That was his owner's name. Reeves started out as a water boy until he was old enough to become a field worker. That was in about probably he was like 10 or so years old. In about 1846, his owner, William Reeves, decided to move his complete operation from Arkansas to Texas. You know how similar, like a lot of people started moving west into Texas, like I was saying that last week. It wasn't around the time though that they were like running away from the Union. This just happened to be a coincidence that he started moving to the West. Um, this dude Bass Reeves, he was kind of a big dude for the time. He was 6'2", kind of solidly built. Always said he had good manners, a good sense of humor. He actually made his way to become his like William Reeves, not William Reeves. Oh, that was his name. The owner was William Reeves. He became his no, George Reeves. Wow. George Reeves, he became his son's valet. So he was like his companion and everything like that. He actually, when the Civil War broke out, he took Reeves with him to join the Confederacy to fight against the Union. So it's like this black dude fighting against slavery. I mean, fighting against the abolition of slavery, basically.
So what are we fighting for? Oh, we're fighting to keep slavery. Okay, yes, keep going.
So actually, it was around that time that he was like, "Wait a minute."
Right.
So he actually, there's conflicting reports about what made him leave. Some say it was a card game that went awry and they got in a fight and he ran away. But some say that it was because he started hearing more and more about being freed and freedom and whatnot. But whatever the reason was, he ended up escaping into what was considered Indian country. Indian country. It would have been what is now known as Oklahoma. It was an area ruled by 5 different nations. It was the Cherokee, the Seminole, the Creek, the Choctaw, and I think the Chickasaw, I think was the other one.
Chickasaw.
So that's what happened. So during this time, he integrating himself with the different tribes. He learned some of the languages. He learned how to track. Apparently, he got really good with his rifle. So
all good skills to have.
All good skills to have. So in 1863, when the Emancipation Proclamation dropped down, and he was like, "Oh, I'm free now." He decided to make his way back home to Arkansas. He got married, had himself like 1,100 kids. Traditional mid, you kept having kids because you didn't know if your kids were going to survive.
Right.
Because that's just
just how it worked back then.
Yeah. So he became this contented farmer and whatnot. A federal judge came into power named Judge Isaac Parker, who was also known as like the hanging judge because of the amount of convictions he had that led to hangings and killings and things, because hanging was how things were carried out back then, I guess. I don't know. Straight to jail. Yeah. Oh, you drink some water? Straight to jail.
Let's just kill people.
Let's just kill people. I don't know are you for capital punishment or no? The death penalty.
I think we kind of touched on this.
I don't remember. I mean, this is episode 20.
Right. I am, but very specific scenarios.
I remember now. Yeah, I remember.
I feel like if there's without a doubt this person did it and there's no other possibility that it was anybody else, then.
But if because I remember that you said if there's any doubt, then
right.
No. Then I said I didn't like it because I just don't think it's good to judge somebody, because basically you're doing the same thing. You're elevating yourself above somebody, saying that so you can determine whether they deserve to live and die, and that's not what I like, and I can't consciously do that to somebody.
No, exactly, and that's why when I see any court case and if you hear everyone's side of the story and if there's any doubt in your mind at all, I don't know how you can put someone to death for it, but it happens all the time.
Yeah. So Bass Reeves living this life with his 11 kids or whatnot. Some sources say he had 10 kids. Some say he had 11. Who knows? It's all oral history at this point because
right.
Yeah. So this judge comes in to Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is where he was living. The hanging judge. He has this job to clean up some of the Indian territory. Terrible name for it, but so apparently in this area if you weren't part of the tribes, the 5 nations couldn't really do anything with you. So what had happened is like people who are outlaws and things like that would find their way into these territories and just kind of live it up. So they were robbing anybody that came through, except the Native American tribes, obviously, because you get your shit pushed in that way.
Yup.
But so that was his job, cleaning up this little territory. So one of his first things he did was like start to deputize a bunch of people whose jobs were to collect these bounties, look for these people. So someone's like, hey, we know this homie. He knows how to track. He knows he actually learned, Bass Reeves learned some of the languages. I think wasn't sure if I pointed that out, but yeah, he learned some of these languages of like at least 2 different nations. So he can communicate with these people. So someone's like, hey, we know this dude. He's good. You should hire him. So he got deputized as a U.S. Marshal. So he ended up being the first deputized U.S. Marshal that was of African-American descent west of the Mississippi, and just one of the first ones in the United States in general.
Yep.
You want to know the craziest things? Like, homeboy couldn't read or write.
Really?
Yeah. Which was common for slaves at the time, but he couldn't read or write. So when he would get these bounties, he would have somebody read them to him and would memorize it.
Yeah.
But he would
you'd have to have a pretty good, like, just to be able to memorize, learn 2 different languages, especially completely different than what you've ever known.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, his memory had to have been
pretty good, right?
Anyways, but yeah.
So yeah, so he would have to present them, and he would like have to present them to warrant when he addressed these people who he was trying to catch, and he never failed to pull the right one out. So he could at least understand it, maybe.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, to not be able to read and write. So he was in charge. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. So he covered some 75,000 square miles. Yeah, of like overall, that's what his area he covered over his 35 years as a U.S. deputy. So,
and this is the one you had just roads that you hop in your car, you drive around.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, it was so easy to get around there.
Right, like it's just like complete different world back then.
But speaking of, he had this, I don't know the name of it, but he had this like majestic white horse that he would always ride around on. Because
you don't ride in a horse.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but this would be Star Wars, and it's a tauntaun, and you're trying to save yourself from the cold. There's a reference for it right there. So he was like this imposing figure on this big white ass horse. So he began to gain a reputation of his courage, of always bringing people back and everything. He always wore a large hat. I'll post a picture of him later on our socials. His boots he was always dressed to the nines. His boots were always shiny. Like I said before, he was always known for his politeness. He always had his 2 guns on his hip facing outward so he could fire off if he needed to. Amazingly enough, in his 30 some odd years, he only had to kill 14 people.
Which is pretty good, especially back then when like they shot first and asked questions later.
Yeah, and he always said he never killed a man that didn't push him to self-defense first. So he killed 14 people, but brought in 3,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So one of the more intriguing stories that I came across was this time where he was tasked to bring in 2 brothers who happened to be like burgling like banks and a bunch of stuff like that. They were horse thieves as well. So they tracked him down to where he was staying with their parents' house, their mom more specifically. So these 2 dudes were like staying at their mom's house. So he tracked them down. He set up camp like 30 some odd miles away from their house or so. And they came up with a plan. They mapped the area out. They scouted it and whatnot. So they came up with a plan. Their plan was that Bass was going to go in and see what he could do. So he ended up walking up to the house, dressed like a vagrant, a homeless person. A tramp is what they called it back in the day. Um, Ruddy clothes, bullet riddled hat. He came up to the house, knocked on the door. The mom came to the door, right? So she comes in. She's like, "Wait, what? What's going on here?" So he spins this story that he was being chased by some posse. They tried to shoot him. They shot holes in his hat. He was so convincing that he was like, "Hey, I'm tired. I'm a little hungry. You think I can come in, rest my feet for a little while?" So she lets him in. A little while later, she gives him some food. A little while later, after that, there's like a whistling that comes from outside. So she opens the door. She looks out on the horizon or whatnot, and she whistles back. Another whistle comes back and enter the two boys. The whole time, apparently, that Bass was there, she was like talking up her sons like they were these badass dudes, lawless, whatnot, outlaws. And Bass was like, "Yeah, I know. That's what I'm here for. But
I'm aware. Tell me more, please.
Tell me more." So I guess the whistle was is it safe, is it safe, is it not safe? I guess she signaled that it was safe because they came to the house. She had actually suggested to Bass that he join their posse. So that's why I think she beckoned them in. So they're talking it up. They get like, "Hey, sure, I'll join your posse," whatnot. He watches these cats go to sleep, and he's like, well, as soon as they go to sleep, he springs into action. He manages to shackle them together without waking them up.
Jesus.
And he ends up leading them and marching them in the morning, the 20 30 miles back to where they had set up camp with his posse, with his group of folks that rode out with him. And apparently this whole time,
at all.
apparently this whole time the mom was like following him and cussing and yelling at them.
I thought I could trust you.
Yeah.
Man, so, that's pretty good. You got to be pretty convincing.
Yeah, no, for real.
Day,
apparently that was his MO. Apparently, like he would disguise himself. He would come up with like ways to like sneak up on people and whatnot. So,
well, I guess you gotta. I mean, I'm assuming people probably just assume some random black guy that's walking in the neighborhood is not part of any, police force at all, since he was the first U.S. Marshal.
And news travels slow as shit out there.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't all good stuff for Bass Reeves. Actually, in 1887, he got charged with murdering a posse cook. So how it worked is they would go out like 4 or 5 people, and everyone would have like a task. Someone would take care of the horses, someone would be the cook. So apparently I didn't get the story of how he got charged with it, but he was charged with murdering a posse cook. So he got arrested. He probably didn't go. He probably went quietly just because he respected the law that much. So he wasn't going to be one of those guys.
Right.
He was actually tried before Judge Isaac Parker, the hanging judge.
Ooh. I don't think that's who you want to be your judge.
But he was represented by the United States Attorney. So, yeah, who happened to be a colleague and a friend. In the end, he was acquitted, so it didn't come out too bad. So that's a good thing.
That's good.
He actually also, one of his more notorious bounties was he ended up having to go after his own son.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in like a fit of rage, his son apparently had killed his wife.
Oh,
so yeah, it's crazy. So he was coming back into town. Probably noticed that everyone was kind of weird, and he heard them talking about this bounty and how no one wanted it, and Bass Reeves stepped up and was like, "I'll do it. I got this," even though it was his son.
Before he knew already.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew or not, but he decided to do it, even though it was his son. No matter how difficult it was, it took him 2 weeks. He brought him in alive.
Well,
that's crazy, right? So in about 1907, he ended up losing his job, not for anything other than that Oklahoma became a state. So law enforcement fell to the state, and
Oh, no
the
longer
way the
federal.
laws worked, he couldn't be he couldn't be a U.S. Marshal anymore just because the state didn't allow it. He actually joined law enforcement there for a little bit, and apparently during his beat, his little watch, no one there was no crimes ever reported. He was that respected. Yeah. So, like I said, over the 35 years Bass Reeves served as a deputy United States Marshal, he earned his place as like one of the most effective lawmen ever. He brought in more than 3,000 outlaws. He helped tame the lawless territory, and he also only killed 14 people, which is a good thing.
I would say super respectful for back then.
Yeah.
Well,
So he's actually, amazingly enough, the basis of the Lone Ranger, arguably.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, some say it is, some say it isn't. But apparently, like a lot of the folklore around him is similar to where like similar in story between the Lone Ranger and stories of Bass Reeves. Also, some of the people that he caught and sent to jail, straight to jail, he sent to jail was in Detroit, which is where like the Lone Ranger started on the radio. So who knows? Some say yes, some say no.
Well,
but
fun fact, I'm gonna roll with it. Bass Reeves is the Lone Ranger.
Also,
the real Lone Ranger.
You ever see that movie, The Magnificent Seven, with Denzel Washington?
No.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good movie. I think Denzel says he got a lot of the inspiration from his character based on Bass Reeves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that BAMF Bass Reeves.
He sounds way cooler than I ever will be.
So yeah.
Well, thanks. That was a fun history lesson.
Yeah. And it was cool reading about him because it's like I heard about him before, but I didn't know all this stuff about him. So I was like, oh,
yeah, I never like I said that name has never crossed any of my history textbooks that I've listened to, read, seen.
It's so like over the next couple episodes, I'm gonna try and find these stories about people that you probably heard of but didn't know who they were. Like you heard of the Lone Ranger, but you didn't possibly hear about the black dude that's behind the story. So
yeah, how about Tonto?
It was probably an amalgamation.
I mean, that also checks out the fact that he, had assimilated with them and learned languages and.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just. I'm still struggling with English most days and a little bit of Italian. I mean, we both fumble on those English words.
Yeah. But I think we did it.
Yeah, we did it. We did a thing.
We did a thing. Hey, Adam.
Hey.
But yeah. But before we go, I just want to say, have a good day.
Me? Thank you. You also have a great day, sir.
Thank you. I'm gonna go watch the remaining 15 minutes of the England match on soccer because
fun.
I like soccer. So there's that.
There you go.
Don't forget to be kind to one another. Don't forget to sometimes you just need to talk it out with somebody. No matter what you're going through, sometimes just saying it out loud gives it the body of something that you can fight, as opposed to living in myth and legends inside your head, because then you can make it bigger than it actually needs to be inside your head. So
yep, exactly.
Be kind to everyone, and more importantly, be kind to yourself. Good day, everybody.
Goodbye.